To the Chief Executive, Louth County Council, County Hall, St. Alphonsus Road, Dundalk, County Louth. Date the 8th of September 2025. Formal complaint. Denial of services, breach of contract and discriminatory, degrading, abusive and threatening conduct towards a blind resident and his carer on Friday 22nd of August 2025 at approximately 15:46. Dear Sir and Madam, I write on behalf of Mr. Mark Fitzsimons, a severely injured, fully blind resident of Louth County and his carer, to lodge a formal complaint regarding the deeply serious incident that occurred on Friday 22nd of August 2025 at 15:46 outside the main offices of Louth County Council's Housing Department. This complaint concerns conduct by a senior housing officer and another council employee which represents not only a personal affront but also a breach of statutory duty, breach of contract, breach of constitutional rights and a breach of Ireland's obligations under both EU law and international human rights treaties. The matter is grave as it concerns the treatment of a vulnerable disabled individual in a public service setting where he is entitled to lawful accommodation, dignity and equal access. 1. Summary of incident. On the date and time specified following an approach to the Housing Department for assistance, Mr. Fitzsimons and his carer were pursued and verbally accosted by two council staff members, subjected to abusive, degrading and foul language including remarks relating to disability, ability, personal hygiene, sexual innuendo and highly personal family matters, subjected to false allegations of a deeply offensive and defamatory nature, denied housing services to which Mr. Fitzsimons was lawfully entitled, treated in a demeaning, discriminatory and degrading manner by a senior officer acting in concert with another staff member, the interaction of which video evidence exists amounted to an abuse of authority and a direct attack on the dignity of a person with a disability in breach of statutory, constitutional and international obligations binding on Louth County Council. Legal and statutory framework breached. The actions complained of constitute breaches of the following. A. Domestic status. Equal Status Acts 2000 to 2018 prohibiting discrimination and harassment in the provision of goods and services on the grounds of disability in association with a disabled person. Disability Act 2005 requiring public bodies to ensure services are accessible to persons with disabilities and to provide reasonable accommodations. Housing Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1997 to 2014 obliging local authorities to provide housing services fairly, transparently and without discrimination. Safety, Health and Welfare at Work Act 2005 insofar as the Council failed to ensure a safe and respectful environment for services users on the premises. Defamation Act 2009 insofar as false and damaging allegations were made against the complainant in a public setting. B. Constitutional Rights. Article 40.1 guaranteeing equality before the law and prohibiting unjust discrimination. Article 40.3 requiring the state and its agents to respect and vindicate the personal rights of the citizen. Article 43.2 and Article 43.3 requiring the state to protect the life, person, goods, name and dignity of its citizens. Article 41 and 42A respecting family life and the protection of vulnerable persons. C. European and international law. European Convention on Human Rights Act 2003, Article 3, Prohibition of inhumane or degrading treatment, Article 8, Right to respect for private and family life, Article 14, Prohibition of discrimination, EU Charter of Fundamental Rights, Article 21, Non-discrimination, Article 26, Integration of persons with disabilities. Article 47, Right to an effective remedy. UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, ratified by Ireland imposing obligations to respect inherent dignity, autonomy and non-discrimination. Article 3, ensure equal recognition before the law. Article 12, provide accessibility to services. Article 9, protect from exploitation, violence and abuse. Article 16, guarantee equality in housing and community inclusion. Article 19, the nature of the harm. The complainant, already vulnerable due to total blindness and serious injury, was humiliated and degraded publicly in the presence of witnesses, had sexual, reproductive remarks and comments made towards him with video evidence corroborating the treatment, denied his right to equality, dignity and access to essential housing services, subjected to unnecessary stress, anxiety and trauma both personally and through his carer, financially disadvantaged, already having paid €360 towards services that were unlawfully withheld. 4. Remedy sought. In light of the seriousness of these breaches, we hereby demand the following remedies. A formal written apology from Louth County Council signed by the Chief Executive acknowledging wrongdoing, a full disciplinary investigation into the conduct of the senior housing officer and staff member involved, mandatory remedial training for all housing department staff on disability awareness, equality and human rights obligations, written assurances that Mr. Fitzsimons will not face further disadvantage in accessing services, that his rights to reasonable accommodation will be upheld. Immediate fund of €360 paid by the complainant for services unlawfully denied. Honouring of the existing agreement between Meath County Council and Louth County Council and Mr. Fitzsimons regarding arrears and transfer back to Navan County Meath. Policy review and reform ensuring that all staff conduct protocols align with domestic equality legislation, the Disability Act 2005, the Equal Status Acts, the CRPD, and the ECHR. Notice, this complaint is made without prejudice to the complainant's rights to initiate proceedings before the Workplace Relations Commission under the Equal Status Acts, lodge a petition under the European Convention on Human Rights Act 2003, pursue remedies before the Circuit Court and or High Court including damages, injunctive relief and costs, petition international bodies in the event of state non-compliance with the CRPD. 6. Response required. We require a substantive written response within 14 days of the date of this letter. Failure to do so will necessitate escalation to the relevant statutory and judicial forums with full reliance placed on contemporaneous video evidence and witness testimony. Yours faithfully, Mark Fitzsimons, and care of the above individual. Go ahead.
So lads, I'm putting in an envelope here to send to Louth County Council a copy of my 4-page letter of complaint about the behaviour of the staff of the council towards us there a few weeks ago. The copy of the 10-page letter that I wrote in 2018, which is the real reason, a 10-page letter that I wrote to the minister complaining about lots of corruption. I wrote as the secretary of a community environmental group that we were all involved in at the time, about loads of different land deals and corruption and things that was done to myself and other people from around the town by the council. And this here is a memory stick containing the video of the interaction with John Lawrence, the head of housing, a few weeks ago at Louth County Council. So this is going to be delivered today to Louth County Council, and we'll see what the response to this will be. Thank you.